Welcome to the show. Today we're diving deep into a powerful narrative about the Cambodian border, its painful memories, and the undercurrents of war that persist like, a silent cancer.
Yeah, it's a heavy subject, but so riveting. What really struck you about this journey?
Well, the author, Pierre-Yves Clais, takes us on a recent trip to Cambodia's forgotten frontier. It's about remembering war victims and exposing a persistent, almost creeping war that never truly goes away.
Right. That's like saying war is this disease that quietly smolders if you ignore it.
Exactly. It's like war is a silent cancer. It lingers, metastasizes, even when we're busy trying to forget it.
Yeah, exactly. And I notice there's a really personal dimension too, a sense of duty and fidelity that comes across strongly in the narrative.
Absolutely. The journey isn't just a travelogue. It's a deep commitment to honor the sacrifices of those at the border. Soldiers, widows, even civilians caught up in the aftermath of relentless bombings from Siamese attacks.
So it's as if every encounter along that border, every small act of kindness, becomes a testament against forgetting the pain of war.
Exactly. Take, for instance, the aid delivered to the 11 war widows of Ta Krobi. The narrative shows how even modest contributions, whether supplies or cash donations, carry profound importance in a place where every little bit helps.
It almost sounds like these actions serve as a counterbalance to the cruelty that war inflicts.
Yes, and it's not just about the aid. It's about the resilience in the face of, ongoing humiliation and loss. The people at the border watch over a land scarred by bombings, a land that remains a part of Cambodia even when, well, politically it might be sidelined.
Yeah. And speaking of sidelining, did you catch that bit on Thai arrogance? There was a strong critique of how they dominate, strategic heights inside Cambodian territory.
Yes, indeed. The article details how Thai forces have planted flags on towering ridges, setting up sniper positions, and using these moves to provoke incidents. It's like a modern-day war tactic wrapped in centuries-old territorial disputes.
But isn't it a bit extreme to compare that to a cancer? I mean, don't these nations use strategic placements as part of defense, too?
That's a fair point, yet the narrative is unflinching. It draws a stark comparison. Just as cancer spreads silently, these military encroachments are, well, not just defense. They're a form of humiliation and, frankly, a deliberate erasure of a people's history.
Exactly. Right? And you mentioned history. The article is quite critical of how history is rewritten, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fascinating, almost infuriating, how a painting in a Bangkok museum is used as propaganda, showing the humiliation of Khmer kings. It's not just art. It's a tool to deny historical facts.
Really provocative. So the narrative isn't only about current military maneuvers, but also about how national identity is shaped by a distorted remembrance of the past.
Exactly. It's like the whole concept of Thainess is built on a rewriting that puts Cambodia as the inferior, the victim of humiliation. And this isn't just old history. It influences modern geopolitical claims.
Right. It's all interconnected. And what about the role of international players? There's critique there too, right?
Definitely. The piece questions the inaction of ASEAN and even criticizes France for, appearing complicit. France, which once helped preserve Cambodia by restoring territories, now seems to be selling weapons to Thailand.
Can you believe that? Wow. That really challenges the notion of former allies sticking by each other during times of, crisis.
Yes, it's a biting critique. You could say a call-out of what happens when historical bonds are forgotten in favor of profit and politics. It's as though the international community finds it easier to turn a blind eye than to act for justice.
It's disheartening. And beyond the politics, there's a sort of, spiritual or cultural dimension tied to those ancient temples.
Absolutely. The temples along the Dongrek Ridge aren't just relics. They're symbols of Khmer sovereignty and, well, a deep spiritual heritage. They were built on heights to act as markers of power and divinity.
Yep, that's profound. It's like the temples are the heartbeat of a civilization, and when they're bombed or neglected, it's as though the very soul of the nation is under attack.
Exactly. Every shattered stone and every bombed pagoda is a testament to a long history of subjugation and resistance. And when the article talks about temples like Preah Vihear being devastated, it symbolizes both physical destruction and an attempted eradication of identity.
That brings up the whole issue of borders, how modern lines have become, sticking points for these ancient markers of identity.
Yes, it's critical. The narrative explains that these borders, drawn up during the Protectorate era, end up splitting sacred lands. Contested areas, like Preah Vihear, are more than just bits of terrain. They're the very bedrock of Cambodian history, now used as pawns.
Exactly that tension. And then there's the, chilling element of military strategy, using ceasefire agreements to, in effect, lay claim to land.
Right. The article exposes how barriers that are supposedly temporary security measures are ending up as a de facto annexation of territory, stranding civilians and rewriting realities on the ground. It's like an ever-tightening noose around Cambodian sovereignty.
Yeah, very unsettling. It's sort of a vicious cycle. The more the land is attacked and divided, the more it fuels historical grievances and national trauma.
Exactly. And then there's the poignant reminder of the human cost: soldiers' grief, widows coping with unbearable loss, and even cultural icons losing their homes.
Right, the human toll is immense. So, how do you feel about the tone of the narrative? It feels, both journalistic and personal, doesn't it?
Yes, it's quite blended. It's not merely cold analysis, but an emotional, reflective call to remember. The duty of remembrance mixed with a condemning gaze at the forces that exploit and rewrite history.
I completely agree. I have to say, though, I wonder if using such strong language risks, polarizing opinions even more. Isn't there a danger that this might alienate some audiences who are less willing to confront these uncomfortable truths?
That's a valid concern. However, the narrative's strength is precisely in its unwavering honesty. It challenges complacency, and while it might polarize, it also forces a reflection. Like, wait, can we truly overlook these ongoing injustices?
True, it's a tough call. Absolutely. And sometimes that confrontation is necessary if we're to truly grasp the depth of the conflict and the resilience of those who fight against being erased.
Exactly. It's a call not to forget, to act, and to be aware that these are not just historical footnotes, but living realities that continue to, shape identities and political landscapes.
Yep, very compelling. This conversation really underscores how a journey to a border can unravel layers of history, identity, and the cruel persistence of war as a silent cancer.
Absolutely. The narrative demands that we not only remember the past, but actively call out injustices that threaten to, rewrite history. It reminds us that compassion, historical truth, and solidarity are essential in confronting forces that, well, try to erase a people's soul.
Truly thought-provoking. Thanks for this deep dive. It's been quite an enlightening discussion on a story that is as raw and moving as it is politically charged.
Thank you. It's been a rich exchange of ideas, and hopefully it sparks more reflection on these enduring issues.